Finally, we reached at the last chapter of this course. In this chapter, we will learn about growth plan, contingency plan and harvest strategy. There are 3 factors affecting growth decision, which are demand for product or service, size of the market and leadership success. The stages of growth can be described as 4 phases through which the business must pass. Startup is characterized by concerns about capital, customers, and distribution. Early growth, or initial growth, by concerns about cash flow and marketing. High growth, or rapid growth, by concerns about resources, capital, and management capabilities. Stable growth, by concerns about innovation and maintaining success. To comprehend the role of growth in a company's evolution, it is important to understand the factors that affect the success of the growth strategy. There are 3 major factors: market factors, management factor, and scale factors. Market factors. If the market is an old, established one, a firm entering with an innovative product in a niche can experience rapid rates of growth. In highly innovative industries, the key to rapid growth is the ability to design and produce a product more quickly than competitors do. Intellectual property rights, like patent, copyrights, trademarks, and trade secrets, offer a competitive advantage to a new venture because they provide a grace period in which to introduce a product or service before anyone else can copy it. Management factors. It is an unfortunate fact that with very few exceptions, most entrepreneurs do not scale, meaning they have a difficult time moving from the entrepreneur role to the executive role, which requires adapting their leadership capabilities to the needs of the growing company. 4 leadership tendencies seem to be a problem for entrepreneurs attempting to manage growing organization are: loyalty to the original founding team, task orientation, focus, single-mindedness of vision, discipline, and working in isolation. Scale factor. Studies have found that among all the factors affecting growth, the most critical appears to be the inability to understand and respond to the business's environment. That is, the entrepreneur did not recognize the opportunities and challenges developing outside the company and their potential to harm it. This is a simple framework for planning the growth of your business. First, scan and assess the environment. Analyze the environment and do a SWOT analysis. Second, plan the growth strategy. Determine the problem to be solved. Where is the pain? Brainstorm solutions. Set a major goal for significant change in the organization. Set smaller, achievable goals that will put you on the path to achieve the major goal. Dedicate resources toward the achievement of these goals. Examine your business model for scalable aspects that will allow your company to grow rapidly at lower cost. Third, hire for growth. Put someone in charge of the growth plan. Bring in key professional management with experience in growing companies. Provide education and training for employees to prepare them for growth and change. Next, create a growth culture. Involve everyone in the organization in the growth plan and reward achievement of interim goals. Finally, build a strategy advisory board. Invite key people from the industry who can keep you apprised of changes. Make industry partners and customers part of the planning process. Invite more outsiders than insiders onto the advisory board. There are 5 growth strategies. Strategic innovation strategies change the game in an industry or market. Intensive growth strategies exploit opportunity in the current market. Integrative growth strategies exploit growth within the industry as a whole. Diversification strategies exploit opportunities outside the current market or industry, whereas global strategies exploit opportunities in the international arena. New concepts are not generally attractive to established companies in the early stages because they break the mold. The early markets are generally small with low margins. Large companies typically wait to see how the new model fares in the market and then they either change their model or attempt to acquire the entrepreneur's company. There are 3 methods for implementing growth in the market. Market penetration. With market penetration, you attempt to increase sales by using more effective marketing strategies within the current target market. Under this strategy, The company would expand gradually from initial target market, whether it is a geographic area or a customer base. Promoting additional uses for products. Attract customers from competitors by advertising advantage over competitor. Or even go after non-customer. Market development consists of taking a product or service to a broader geographic area or innovating new products even in areas where the company has not played previously. For example, in the case if a company like Google, moving into the tablet and cell phone market was a form of market development or exploration, as were Google Glass and the driverless car. One of the most popular ways to expand a market geographically is to franchise. Franchising enables a business to grow into geographic markets at once. Franchises generally come in three types: dealerships, service franchises, and product franchises. Licensing is a way to grow a company without investing large amounts of capital. Licensing steps that potential licensors should take to ensure a successful transaction. Decide exactly what will be licensed. Understand the benefits the buyer will receive from the transaction. Conduct thorough market research. Conduct due diligence on potential licensees. Determine the value of the license agreement, and lastly, create a license agreement. Product development. Develop new product or services for existing customer or offer new versions of existing products. Breakthrough products may come through unplanned means. Now, let's examine all three strategies: vertical, horizontal and modular or network strategies. Vertical strategies is an entrepreneurial venture. Grow by moving backward or forward within the distribution channel. Another way to grow your business within the current industry is horizontal integration, which is to buy up competitors or start a competing business. Modular or network strategies focus on core competencies and outsource the rest. Diversification growth strategies is about investing in or acquiring products or businesses which are outside the core competencies and industries. This strategy is used when all other growth strategies within the current market or industry have been exhausted. Synergistic strategy. Acquire products, services unrelated to the company's core products or services. Conglomerate diversification, acquiring businesses that are unrelated to the company's current business. Some entrepreneurs will launch companies that are born global. The term born global usually denotes a company that generates at least 25% of its sales in the first 3 years from international marketplace and derives competitive advantage from outsourcing and selling in several countries. Characteristics of successful globalization are: a global vision from the start, internationally experienced managers, strong international business networks, preemptive technology, a unique intangible asset, close-linked product, service extensions, and a close coordinated organization on a worldwide basis. Finding the best market for a product or service can be a challenging task, but consulting certain sources of information can make the job easier. A good place to start is the International Trade Statistics Yearbook of the United States. International Trade Administration offices are also excellent sources, as is the Department of Commerce. Here is the list of friendliest country for starting up your business. Export financing. Entrepreneur who want to export can look for capital from several sources, including bank financing, internal cash flow from the business, venture capital or private investor capital, and prepayment, down payment, or progress payments from the foreign company placing the order. A commercial bank is more interested in lending money to small exporters if they have assurance from a governmental agency such as the Export-Import Bank. This is because such guarantee limits the risk undertaken by the commercial bank. Besides that, don't forget to use foreign agents, distributors, and trading companies who specialize in importing goods. In choosing an intermediary, you should undertake due diligence work to assure the right partner. For instance, check the intermediary's current listings of products, understand the competition. Find out whether the intermediary has enough representatives in the foreign country to handle the market, their sales and warehouse space. You should also choose a freight forwarder to handle all aspects of delivering the product. Now, we need to learn how to prepare for contingencies. You must be ready and willing to adapt to the change in your business. Risk is when future events occur with measurable probability. Uncertainty is when the likelihood of certain events is unknown and indefinite, incalculable. An effective contingency plans answer the following questions. In event of problem, which suppliers will extend entrepreneur's repayment line? What non-essential assets can be sold for cash quickly? Can additional investment capital be tapped? Are customers willing to repay or purchase earlier than planned? Has a good relationship with banker and accountant been established? The steps of risk management in a new venture are: identify potential risks, determine probability of occurrence, calculate cost of loss to the business, assign a weight to the importance of the loss to the business, and then calculate the risk to the business. Risk is a fact of business life, and your company's exposure to risk increases as it grows. Understanding where the risk lies enables you to respond effectively through process improvement strategies and buffer strategies. Process improvement strategies involve reducing the probability of risk by forming strategic alliances with strong partners. Buffer strategies involve protecting against potential risk that can't be prevented. There are 6 types of risk: supply chain risks, taxes and regulations, intellectual piracy, product liability, cyber risk, and decline in sales. Calculating risk probability and cost to the business. The overall risk of loss is simply the product of the probability of occurrence times the cost of the impact to the business times the level of significance of the impact. If the calculation is done for all the identified risks, it will be easier to decide on which risks to concentrate efforts and focus resources. Succession planning is identifying people who can take over key company positions in an emergency or in a change of ownership. It is an important part of planning for change. The replacement may come from external hire or promoting from within. Change of ownership in small enterprise. Employing a simple process for succession planning will increase the likelihood that the process will actually result in an effective succession plan. One such simple process was advanced by the research of Passmore and Torres. It calls for a 4-step plan. In situation assessment, your need to determine the timing of succession, the criteria for selection and the likely internal or external candidates. Announcement of the process. Once the company's situation is accessed, you should announce the plans and the process to relevant stakeholders such as board members, advisors and employees. Execution of the search. At this stage, management moves forward to search and select either an internal or external candidate. Finally, transition. Once the selection has been made, you need to help the new leader during the transfer of power, smooth the transition with important stakeholders, and make a graceful exit at appropriate time. Other than that, to prepare the possible unexpected loss of a key employees. It is a good idea to purchase key person insurance, which will cover the costs associated with abruptly having to replace someone. Consultants may be hired to guide management team. Another solution is to cross-train people in key positions so that someone can step in the event of an emergency. Succession planning in family-owned business takes a long time due to 3 key issues. Physiological and emotional issues that stem from the interrelations of family members. The complexity of succession, particularly since the owner typically has no experience in this area, and relevant laws and taxation that impact the financial status of the company. To start the process of succession planning, all the active family members should participate on a committee to explore the options. Some of the questions to examine are the following. Is the next generation being sufficiently prepared to take over the business when the time comes? What is the second generation's expectation for the future of the business, and is it congruent with the company's vision? What skills and experience does the second generation need to acquire? What would the ideal succession plan look like? Planning for harvest and exit. There are few types of entrepreneurial career paths, which are growth entrepreneurs, habitual entrepreneurs, harvest entrepreneurs, and spiral or helical entrepreneurs. Selling the business outright to another company or to an individual may be the goal if you are ready to move on to something else and you want to be financially and mentally free to do so. Cashing out but staying in. Sometimes entrepreneurs reach the point where they would like to take the bulk of their investment and gain out of the business, but are not yet ready to cut the cord entirely. Hence, there are two ways: a phased sale or employee stock ownership plan. Restructuring the family business. Entrepreneurs who want to cash out a significant portion of their investment and turn over the reins to a son, daughter, or other individual can do so by splitting the business into two firms, with the entrepreneur owning the firm that has all the assets and the other individual owning the operating aspects of the business while leasing the assets from the entrepreneur company. There are various reasons for bankruptcy, but the common denominator is poor management. Upon filing bankruptcy, the court will issue an order for relief, liquidates the assets and discharges most types of debt, reorganizes the business so it can continue operating and paying its debt. Here are some advice for making a bad situation better. Entrepreneurs should talk to other entrepreneurs who have been in similar situations. End a business before it affects the entrepreneur's personal life. A business owner should never commingle personal or business funds. Do not ignore the government. Begin looking for opportunity, and pay back investors first. Identify market, management, and scale factors that may affect the growth of the business. Determine which growth strategy is most appropriate for the business. Identify potential international markets for the product or service. Develop a plan for globalization of the company at some point in the future. Identify the risks that could affect the business at various points in the future. Develop a contingency plan for all the high probability/high impact scenarios that may affect the business in the future. Set goals for the business that will enable the appropriate exit or harvest strategy. Entrepreneurship is a mindset, a way of viewing the world, and skill set that can be learned. Who should be an entrepreneur? Anyone who wants to experience the freedom and independence that comes from knowing that opportunities and resources to make those opportunities a reality are within their grasp. This is the end of this chapter. Thank you for joining this course.